Good afternoon. As you're finding your seats, a reminder that due to COVID precautions, we are not handing out a bulletin today, but that there are QR codes in the narthex, and you can scan that with your phone, and that will take you to a bulletin for this service. It's good to see each of you here today. I'm Pastor Jeff Moore. We're here to celebrate and remember the life of Gabriel Floyd Gerdes. I want to welcome you to Webster Groves Christian Church, an open and affirming congregation of the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. That means not only are we open to all people and see all people as children of God, but we affirm your truth, long to walk with you and celebrate who you are. We're glad you're here with us today. Just a couple of reminders that because of COVID, we have come in through the center aisle, and then at the end of the service, we will have the side aisle doors open so that you can file out that way. Of course, in the case of an emergency, please find whatever appropriate exit you can. Thank you so much for wearing masks today and keeping them up over your mouth and nose. And again, we thank you for being here with us today as we remember and celebrate Gabe.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through the night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can bring you down, time can bend your knees. Time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging please. there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
Sorry. Gabe the Family Man. Most of you know that Gabe had a special name for Leah. He called her Hardy. The story, the story of how that name came about was never really cleared up, as Gabe's story changed at least once in his preschool years. Regardless how it came about, Gabe decided that when we all get married, he would start calling her Leah. Leah explained to Gabe that he was welcome to call her what felt most comfortable, but that she really loved the name he'd given her. Gabe already had a mom, so that name didn't seem appropriate. Leah wasn't an aunt or a close family friend. She was Hardy, a name unique to Gabe and to their family. However, Leah conceded that Gabe should call her what felt comfortable to him. The day before their wedding arrived, and immediately after the ceremony, Gabe hugged his stepmom and said, "Hi, Leah. That was a really nice wedding, Leah." That lasted through the photo session, to the reception, through dinner. When Gabe started getting sleepy, his Meemaw and Pawpaw offered to take him back to the hotel. As a very tired Gabe hugged his dad and stepmom, he said, "Good night, Daddy. I love you. Good night, Hardy. I love you." And that was the last of that. One evening after school, Dad and Hardy sat down with Gabe and told him, "We've got really great news for you." Excitedly, Gabe jumped up and down and said, "Are we getting a puppy?" "No," we told him. "You are going to have a little brother or sister," thinking Gabe would be happy about the prospect. His response, "I'd rather have a puppy." So although initially apprehensive, he changed his tune once he met Xander. Gabe adored him and fussed over him so much that he decided to do a science fair project on the growth patterns of a baby. Like a true scientist, he took regular measurements and tracked the progress of his little brother, posting that progress on a display board. He earned a blue ribbon. But as most of you know, younger siblings can sometimes be annoying, especially when they are as enamored as Xander was with Gabe. One afternoon, Gabe had had enough of the pestering 18-month-old, who really just wanted to play with his big brother. Gabe didn't get angry or storm off. He simply picked Xander up, plopped him into the nearest laundry basket, saying, "That's it." Little Xander, although big enough to easily climb out of the basket, was heartbroken that his big brother had put him there. He just stayed in the basket and cried. Thus was born the timeout basket at the Gerdes home. The next time Gabe was told another baby was joining the family, he was more prepared and maybe even a little happy about the addition. He also had a new strategy for dealing with a very excited little sister. Josie adored her big brother, following him around, talking to him nonstop. One day, out of frustration or maybe desperation, Gabe said, "Go find it, Joe." What was it he was referring to? No one knew, but because little sister loved everything about Gabe, she went on a quest and left big brother alone, at least for a little while. Gabe loved his little brother and sister, and they loved him right back. Gabe also loved all of his parents. From a wedding reception he attended in November, he sent a text to all of them, saying as much. He sent a very sweet text to Leah, saying how the events of that day had reminded him of the day she and her dad had gotten married, how she'd made a vow to love him too. He expressed how grateful he was to have 3 parents to love him, and how he hoped to one day be the kind of parent himself. Gabe loved this exciting family too. His extended family too. He loved his Talley family, the Boric family, his Nager and Brendel family. He liked keeping up with everyone via Facebook posts and updates from relatives. He loved being part of a big family, which is probably why he built and surrounded himself with large families wherever he went. He had a love for all of his family, but he had a special place in his heart for his paternal grandmother. Though he was not quite 9 when she passed, he never forgot her and had a picture of the 2 of them displayed prominently in his Chicago apartment. And then this is from Gabe's Aunt Jennifer. We all knew Gabe as a kind and brave person. One of my fondest memories takes place in the exact church where we now remember his life with such deep love and gratitude. John and my mother passed when our children were fairly young. John and Leah are always amazing about helping others, and they planned a memorial for her here. My tribe played a string quartet, Bach probably. Then a small Kubrick 5th grader got up and read an essay about how much he loved his grandmother. He was confident, strong, and humble. It was a beautiful sight. We all cried, of course. Gabe's willingness to face difficulties with bravery and grace is how I will always remember him.
One night, when Gabe was about 4, when Gabe was still an infant, John began singing the song Lavender Blue as a lullaby almost every night. It became a part of their bedtime routine. Though the singing became less frequent as Gabe moved into his toddler years, it was still there and still sung from time to time. One night, when Gabe was about 4, Brenda called John to let him know that Gabe had worked himself into a state. He was crying hard, and she couldn't get him to stop. She asked if John would talk to him, and he, of course, agreed. When calming and soothing talking didn't work, John had an idea. He started to sing Lavender Blue. Slowly, the crying diminished and eventually stopped. It was a powerful reminder of the strong emotional connection and a testament to the power of music when words alone fail. Gabe, your old man hopes you won't mind indulging him one more time. Although the lyrics might be a bit more heteronormative than we might like for where the relationship has evolved, it is offered today from a place of love that will never diminish. And if we listen from the standpoint of your love of a good drag show, perhaps we can see the king and the queen in a new light. We love you, Gabe. You will always be our king, our queen, or whatever you want to be.
Lavender blue, dilly dilly, lavender green. If you were king, dilly dilly, you'd need a queen. Who told me so, dilly dilly? Who told
soul. If your dilly-dilly heart feels a dilly-dilly way, and if you answer yes, in a pretty little church on a dilly-dilly day, you'll be wed in a dilly-dilly dress of lavender blue, dilly-dilly, lavender green. Then you'll be king, dilly-dilly, and you'll have a queen. If your dilly-dilly heart feels a dilly-dilly way, and if you answer yes, in a pretty little church on a dilly-dilly day, you'll be wed in a dilly-dilly dress of lavender blue, dilly-dilly, lavender green. Then you'll be king, dilly-dilly, and you'll have a queen.
Though he wasn't preachy or showy about it, Gabe had a deeply spiritual side. It was something he carried with him, both figuratively and literally. The tattoo on his left upper arm included the chi and rho symbols. These Greek letters together form a nominum sacrum, a symbol for Christ. You've already heard the story of how Gabe delivered a great tribute to his grandmother Jerry at her memorial service. What hasn't been mentioned yet is the last two sentences of that tribute. In them, he said he had faith that on the day that he died, he knew he would get to see her again. He was not quite 9 years old. When he was 13, Gabe was in the pastor's class at this very church with Duncan Kinsey. Catherine Kinnaman was the associate pastor and guided the two of them through many great spiritual lessons as they prepared for baptism. Leah, then Atkinson Belinsky, was the student pastor and had recently returned from a small group trip to the Holy Land. She brought back 2 small vials of water from the Jordan River, giving one each to Gabe and Duncan. He could have kept that vial as a keepsake, but opted instead to pour the contents in the baptismal waters the day of the ceremony. He explained at the time, "I want to be baptized in the same water that Jesus was." Gabe didn't need to attend formal church regularly to practice the teachings of his faith. You've heard and will no doubt continue to hear for days and years to come dozens of firsthand accounts of how he treated people. He loved them, he accepted them, he celebrated them and nurtured them. It has been helpful in the transition for John and Leah and Brenda to know that Gabe was not his earthly vessel. The heart of him, the soul of him, remained unchanged. He was the person he had always been, a loving child, grandchild, sibling, and cousin. A great friend, a champion of the marginalized, and a lover of life. He was, at his very core, Gabriel Floyd Gerdes. Although words cannot describe how sad we are to no longer have him with us on this earth, we can rejoice in the fact that he is free from earthly pains and is reunited with his beloved Meemaw. The video you're about to see is just one of several times that Gabe lent his musical talents to this church. It was his idea to perform a U2 song that he recognized had significant spiritual underpinnings. It was 2012, so he was 17 at the time. It was an uplifting moment and would give new ideas about incorporating secular music in a sacred setting.
Okay, hello. I know there's a lot of extended family here, so my name is Samantha. I am part of the chosen family that started in Carbondale and moved to Chicago. And I do have to make an apology to Gabriel. He was the one that was always making sure we were on time to everything. So we walked in a few minutes late, and we are so sorry. We're still adjusting. Okay, so I have Gabe, the hard worker, and the high achiever. From an early age, Gabe had a high intellect and a strong work ethic. He was a part of the gifted education program at Westchester Elementary. In middle school, his test scores were high enough that his recommended reading list included books by Tolstoy and Proust. Although school came to him fairly easily, he knew that to achieve his goals, he'd have to work hard. As a high schooler, he already had a good idea that his career path would be something in the business and marketing world. At Kirkwood High School, he started competing on the DECA team in his junior year, going as far as the state level in his first try. By his senior year, he had won state, traveled to California to compete in the international competition, and was president of the KHS Pioneer School of Business. To earn money in high school, he worked at the Daily Bread, often long hours in addition to his regular schoolwork. He gathered great stories from the regular customers. While in college, he joined the Pi Sigma Epsilon business fraternity. He would be elected president midway through his junior year. He worked for SIU's Conference and Scheduling Services office during the school year. The most common kudo heard by his parents was how he worked harder than most student workers, preferring to get things done rather than just coast and collect a paycheck. He spent 2 summers as a videographer at the Southern Illinois Miners baseball team in Marion, Illinois. It was fantastic to see him combine 2 of his loves in a job situation. But the most telling story about Gabe's work ethic is related to a summer job he held after his freshman year at SIU. Family friend Brian heard that Gabe was looking for summer work and so helped him get in at the Office Max in Baldwin, where Gabe worked in the copy shop. By the end of the summer, Gabe had so impressed the manager of the store, that manager offered to hire him full-time and make Gabe manager of the copy department. He was flattered, but politely declined, saying he wanted to continue his studies in Carbondale. After college, Gabe took a series of jobs that brought him progressively closer to realizing his dream of working at a large advertising agency in New York City. In 2021, he was successful in landing a job with such a firm that had offices in both New York and Chicago. He was on the fast track to realizing his dream. The folks at Leo Burnett even told him they would help him with the relocation when the time came. His annual review was coming up in March, and he'd already made an impression on his new work colleagues. So these are some quotes from Gabe's managers, or Gabe's co-workers. So from Gabe's manager's manager at Leo Burnett and ARC, "I knew your son well. We shared an interest in sports, and because I briefly lived in Chicago a couple of years ago, we also discussed the good and bad of living in the city." And Gabe had a lot of bad things to say about living in the city. "I always enjoyed those conversations with him. He was a valuable and respected member of our team." And then from another team member, "I had the absolute pleasure of working with Gabe. He was such a wonderful soul and an amazing addition to the team. Please know that he brought such joy and happiness to everyone with whom he worked. We are going to miss him dearly." And from the leader of the Unilever team at ARC, "I want to share my condolences for your loss. It is a loss felt deeply by all of us. It was a privilege to have Gabe on my team. Between our agency and clients, your son touched over 500 people, and many of us would love to honor him in some way." And that's who he was at his very core. As gifted as he was intellectually and as hard of a worker as he could be, he had a gift for winning people over. He had a way of connecting with people and connecting people to each other. That's one of the things we will miss about him most of all. Gabe's love of all sports, but most especially the St. Louis Cardinals and Kansas City Chiefs, is well documented, so we won't go into too much detail about that here. But the video clip you're about to see is a great example of both his work ethic and his passion for sports. Gabe won a contest to do an on-field pregame interview with the current Cardinals player. It turned out to be the highly touted minor league prospect Stephen Piscotty, who had just been called up to the majors the previous week. Never one to do anything half-heartedly, Gabe had thoughtfully written out his questions. As the cameras were being set up, Piscotty was chatting with Gabe and was surprised to find out that, unlike most fans in that situation, he was not just making up questions as he went. Piscotty asked to see the questions so he could think a bit and prepare decent answers. The interview you're about to see is a result of that interaction in the home dugout at Busch Stadium.
Now it's time for Smart Mouth Asks the Cardinals.
Here with Stephen Piscotty, and I'm going to ask him a few questions today. So, first of all, what do you listen to get you pumped up before games?
It's a good question. I think my favorite stuff to listen to is country, and Zach Brown, Luke Bryan, a bunch of those guys. I like any of the country music singers.
And what is your favorite sport other than baseball?
Growing up, I played a lot of basketball, so I'd have to say basketball. I had a lot of fun playing in high school, and I was a post, and it was just a lot of fun playing out there with all my friends.
And what has been the best moment of your career so far?
Best moment would probably be getting called up to the big leagues, no doubt about it. Getting to go to Chicago and being with the team and getting in there my first game, it was something I'll never forget.
All right, and who is your baseball idol?
I loved watching Mark McGwire when I was growing up. I grew up close to Oakland, so I got to watch him when he was there, and then also, obviously, when he came over to St. Louis. And when I first got drafted, I actually got to come to Busch Stadium and take some BP in front of him, so that was really cool.
All right, and when you were younger, did you know that you would play in the majors one day?
I didn't know for certain. I knew that was my dream and that I was going to work as hard as I could to get here, and now I'm here, so I'm just going to enjoy this moment.
And what is your favorite food?
Ooh, favorite food. I got kind of a weird one. I love having grilled cheese with guacamole inside. Something I would have as a kid, and I can't get enough.
That does sound good. Do you consider yourself superstitious?
I used to be. I'm trying to not do as many superstitious things anymore, but yeah, when I was playing, not changing your sliders, wearing all the same stuff, yeah, I fell into those traps.
All right, and what is your favorite thing about St. Louis?
The fans, being here and just seeing all the red and seeing the stadium get packed, it's awesome. So that's definitely the coolest part of St. Louis for me so far.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and welcome to St. Louis.
All right, thank you very much.
To win the chance to interview a Cardinals team member from the field, along with tickets to the game,
Gabe, the good friend and community builder. American journalist Enda Buchanan once said, "Friends are the family we choose for ourselves." Gabe built close friends groups everywhere he lived: Kirkwood, St. Louis, Carbondale, and Chicago. He was the connective tissue that bound people to each other. He inspired love and loyalty because that's what he gave. This was borne out by the sheer number of glowing tributes posted to his Facebook page. What follows are just a sample. I apologize if I say the name wrong. Haley Smith. Even though you're 2.5 years younger, you taught me so much about life and being true to yourself. You had so much courage and ambition and loved hard. Missing you so much and forever thankful to have had your presence in my life. The other day I remembered a night in Carbondale shortly after we met. You picked up someone's guitar and played us Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here." I can still hear your voice singing it, even though I hadn't thought of that night in years. Wish you were here, pal. From Riley Hale. I will remember all the Friday night dinners, the lunch hangs with Hank, and I forgot my wallet again. Like, seriously, how does one forget their wallet almost every day? The tears that would stream down your face from laughing way too hard, and the need to spend $23 on a breakfast burrito. Glad to see you had your wallet then. Karaoke, Blink-182 until our voices went out. Today and every day I will remember you. Thank you for being such a good friend and always being there for me during my hardest times. From Michelle Ponder. I'd give anything to hear you say any of your token phrases again, or to turn around and see you at Riley's desk. You were a once-in-a-lifetime kind of person and friend. Moses Gaither Gainham. Thank you for your courage and authenticity. Thank you for teaching me about myself, for helping me to learn that the only way forward is to be true to yourself. Rachel Sample. Gabe was an incredible type of person. He would post his friends and family just to give a shout out to them. A little, "This is my friend," or "Just look how cool my family is" vibe. That is what sticks with me the most about Gabe, and the love and gratitude I want to emulate. Michael Radford. Finding the words to express how much I miss you and how much I will miss you every day from now is very difficult. I'll always remember your jokes, your laugh, and especially your playful grin that always made me smile. Abby Creek. Wanted to add one more post about how much Gabe Gerdes was loved by literally everyone he knew. She included a screenshot of 2 people proclaiming how much they loved Gabe. This is a text I sent Gabe a few weeks ago about 2 of my friends who met him one time. He made friends so easily it took only one hanging out for people to consider him a friend. And I think that's pretty rare, but great personality trait. Haley Dillon. Gabe, you were my family. I know we both would have been there for each other no matter what. No questions asked. I can't even understand where to begin with accepting this. I hate that I have to. Katie Hepler McCauley. Gabe was absolutely ridiculous in the most endearing way only he could get away with. He never did anything with half his heart. He was passionate and had big plans and expectations for his future. He left us too soon. I will think of him every time I laugh at Nick Miller, belt out a Sam Smith song, and a million little moments in between. The video we're about to show is another example of the kind of love and devotion Gabe inspired. On Christmas Day of 2020, Gabe told John, Leah, Xander, and Josie of his news, that he had come to a personal realization he was a man, that he had always been a man. He told them his new name, and they confirmed his pronouns. They talked for a while, and before he left that day, he told them that after he had told his friends, they had made a video for him. He sent them the video, and it was everything a parent could ever want for their child. Happy tears came as a result of this extravagantly kind gesture. Gabe's village had used their own time and their own money to create something to show him just how loved and accepted he really was and is.
Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hello, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Congratulations, Gabe.
I love you. I thought it would be appropriate that I wear the shirt that you're always roasting me for wearing because I am wearing this shirt today.
I just want to say congratulations and welcome. And the reason I say congratulations is because you have taken a journey of looking within and accepting yourself and living out your truth. And it does take courage. And it is something that people fight their whole life with, no matter how big or small the journey is. And this is a huge step.
I'm overall just so excited for you, and just to see you come into your skin and feel like you are who you're supposed to be, because you deserve that. You're an amazing person, And all any of us want is just to see you be as happy as you can possibly be.
I'm so excited and honored to be a part of this journey with you, to support you in every possible way that I can. And I'm so excited for you to be your best self.
I am so freaking proud of you and so excited for you. I can positively say that this is the first time in the past, 4 to 5 years that you just seem so much more confident and just present in your own skin. And it makes me, as your bestie, very excited.
We miss you, and we just wanted to take some time to remind you of how incredibly proud we are of you on your transition, and we wanted to remind you that we are here with you every step of the way.
I am so happy for you as you start on this journey.
We wanted to tell you how excited and proud we are that you're going through this incredible metamorphosis during your life. And like Shangela said, if there's anyone who can come out stronger at the other end, it's going to be you, and we believe in you, and we're always here for you, so please lean on us. You'll still be the baddest bitch in the room, though. Don't worry.
I just wanted to say how proud I am of you and congratulations on embracing your real self. I wish you the best of luck on this new journey, and I love you so damn much. I feel so blessed to have you in my life.
We just wanted to reach out and congratulate you on this next chapter of your life's journey. We're so excited to be able to support you as you move forward to being who you truly are.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you.
I'm just so proud of you and all you've overcome in the last few years to get to this point where you're able to become the realest version of yourself.
I'm wishing you an amazing journey. I will be loving and supporting you throughout it and forever. And it's super exciting, and I'm just proud. I really am proud, and it's super inspiring. I can't cry, but it is very inspiring.
I am so excited and incredibly proud of you to be going on this amazing journey starting next year. I love you so much.
I know this process is new to you and new to us, but we have got your back the whole time, and I can't wait to take new photos and videos and make so many new memories with Gabe.
I cannot wait to be with you on this journey and learn about you, and I am just so excited.
We hope that 2021 brings you nothing but great things and happiness, and we can't wait to celebrate you soon.
So happy for you, Gabe. We can't wait to see you. So I hope you have a great journey through this, and I really hope that you just truly find exactly who you are.
And if you need anything, we're right here for you, and we love you.
It is probably going to be a wild and crazy ride, but I just want you to know that you're so loved and supported, and just love you.
Anyone that knows you and loves you is super proud of you.
I can't wait to take you shopping for some new clothes.
So sending lots of love and hugs.
We love you very much, and we hope to see you soon.
Cheers.
I love you, and I know I'm no Shangela, but this is what you get.
See you soon. Bye.
I love you. So proud of you.
Love you.
Greetings, salutations, and hallelujah. Surprise! Hi, Gabe. Oh, yes, honey, it's me, your girl, Shangela. Say, what? I started as a baby, now I'm all grown up. I'm all grown up, and I'm making you this message, baby. Your friends, your closest friends, they love you so much. And they were like, Shangela. I was like, what? They were like, Shangela, our friend is going on a journey, is coming into their real self. Their most authentic self. And I wanted to jump in on their congratulatory bandwagon and say to you that I am so proud of you, okay? I'm so proud of you on your transition that's happening in 2021 to become fully Gabe. And also, I'm so proud of you on the journey in life that you just been to really realize, to fully realize all the parts of who you are and to embrace, accept, and move forward with a smile, all right? You are working toward who you most authentically are. And sometimes that's the biggest and sometimes most scariest journey. But I have a feeling that you will be so happy as you continue to grow into Gabe. All right? So just know that your homegirl Shangela's here. Honey, I wish I could be there with you. I would jump out of a box, out of a cake, and be like, woo, hallelujah, hey, Gabe, hallelujah, I love you. But, you know, I'm over here trying to be the socially distant diva. But until I get to see you in person, I just want to say all the best to you. Good luck with everything. Mazel tov. Honey, I don't know how many is a Feliz Tostadatis, okay? I'm just wishing you all buena suerte, okay? All the luck in the world. But more so than luck, enjoy your journey. Because everybody can't make that journey. And you can. I believe in you. Your friends believe in you. And they love you. All right? Hallelujah. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hello, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Congratulations, Gabe. I love you. I thought it would be appropriate that I wear the shirt that you're always roasting me for wearing because I am wearing this shirt today.
I read from the Gospel according to John, the 14th chapter, verses 1 to 4. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and I will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And you know the way to the place where I'm going. Just before Christmas, as we were getting ready for our Christmas services, Gabe was sitting just here, and as I walked in and saw him, I walked over and I said, "This is a great time to be here. Angel Gabriel is big in the story." And Gabe looked at me and said, "I thought about that when I chose the name." And I've been thinking about that since that night. I've been thinking about what it means to bear the name Gabriel. What does it mean to have a name that in the scriptural tradition is a messenger from God? Today, this afternoon, people have been sharing the ways in which they have received messages of love, of welcome, of hope, messages of loyalty, of humor from Gabe, from Gabriel. We're going to see and hear more messages from Gabe, important messages. And I think at this moment, it might be helpful to also remember that as recipients of these messages, we become bearers of those same messages as well. The video we just saw is so very important, and I think it connects directly with what I just read from the Gospel of John. Here in John 14, Jesus is saying, I'm not going to be with you all the time, but we'll see each other again. And he also says, in my Father's house there are many dwelling places. When I read that as a child, I used to picture a house where Jesus' dad lived. And maybe that's what Jesus was talking about, but I also know that in his tradition, at that time, he would have been referring to Beit Ab, his family, the house of his father. Basically, what Jesus is saying here to his disciples, his friends, is we're family. Even though I'm going away from you, we are family. There is room in my family for you. We are family together. That's what we just heard again and again and again. Words of love, words of acceptance, words of pride, words of loyalty, and words of hope. Gabe was a messenger. Let his messenger voice continue to ring in our ears. Let us remember, as Jesus said, as Gabe's great friend said, we're connected. We're family. As we remember, as we share, as we grieve, as we give thanks, and as we celebrate, know that love is in this room. Love flowed through Gabe's life, and love will continue to flow through ours if we can be open to it. Gabe named and claimed who he was, who he is. My hope for each of us in this place is that we will all and always proudly name and claim who we are, and that we will listen carefully with open hearts to those names and those claims by all others, and welcome them. And remember, we are a family. I give thanks and praise for Gabe's life. Amen. Now, at this time, we're going to hear from some friends and family members of Gabe, and we're going to start with his stepmother, Leah.
He means hearty. We have hundreds upon hundreds of stories about Gabe, but we don't have time to share them all today. Sorry. One particular memory came to me this morning as we were sitting at our kitchen table, and it was of a sweet second grader. Since Dad and I were the musician parents in the family, Gabe informed us that he was participating in the second grade musicals at his school and needed a little help learning the songs. He handed me the folder with the script and songs, and as I flipped through it, I asked if he had a particular role. He casually said, "I'm the professor." Great, I thought, grabbing my highlighter to mark anything specifically calling out the professor. As I looked page by page, I saw professor over and over and over on literally every page. Then again, on the songs, professor marked at all these solos. I looked up at this sweet child who seemed so calm and relaxed and asked, "Sweet Pea, are you the lead?" He replied, again quite casually, "Yeah, I guess." Completely unfazed. Second grade. 11 years later, the same child made me proud and broke my heart in the same moment. We'd spent that August day loading the car, unloading, shopping, unpacking, setting up his dorm room at Brown Hall at SIU. John and I stalled as long as we could, but it was time to leave. I made Gabe promise me he'd go to that evening's social events and spend time getting to know his roommate, Haley. Then came the goodbye I was dreading. He hugged me tight, hugged John even tighter, and then said, "All right, I'll see you later," as he turned to walk across the lawn toward his dorm. I'd held in my tears as I watched him walk away until he didn't turn back for one last look. He was off, and he would be just fine. That calm, cool confidence was one of the innumerable qualities I admired in Gabe. It was so easy to be proud of him.
This is from Gabe's great uncle, Mike Durr. When Gabe was 7th or 8th grade, my memory, your family was visiting Carbondale, and he asked me about Vietnam. At that time, I rarely talked about my experience there, but he had a genuine interest that was a reflection of his interest in military history, so I shared with him the pictures, medals, memories I had, including my Purple Heart. Sometime later, he sent me a small Purple Heart pin, which became a special memento for me. He gained some insight into that part of our military history, and I gained the confidence to share that history with others without the emotional baggage I had carried with it for years. Our memorial for Gabe is a 4-inch by 8-inch paver at the National Infantry Museum, which will be next to my paver. I pray Gabe will feel honored, both with this paver and that it will rest next to mine. His paver will say, "Gabe Gerdes, a student of military history." At this time, are there other family members or friends who would like to come forward one at a time and share a story or memory?
So this is a great story to tell because you can't write this down. You're gonna see why in a minute. So when he was about 3 years old, I was at a Cardinal baseball game with Gabe, shocker. And we were sitting there in the upper deck at the Old Busch Stadium, and he turns to me about midway through the game and he says, "Daddy, where's George?" I'm like, "George? There's nobody named George on the Cardinals at this time. There's nobody on the opposing team named George." So I'm like, okay, Brian Jordan. So when Brian Jordan came up to bat, his picture's on the big screen, and I say, "Is that George?" And he goes, "No, that's not George." I'm like, okay, he's 3 years old. What? It's like, the Arch? George Arch? I'm like, is that George? No, he starts getting mad at me. "No, Daddy, that's not George. Where's George?" So I spent the rest of the baseball game that day trying to imagine who or what he was referring to. And it wasn't until weeks later when we're sitting on the couch at home and we're watching a baseball game, and the announcers were quiet for a second, and you could hear the crowd noise and the background of the baseball game at Busch, and all of a sudden you hear da-da-da-da-da-da, and he goes, "George!" So from an early age, I raised that child to be a baseball fan, and specifically a Cardinal baseball fan, and he really took that to heart. And we talked at least 3 or 4 times a week and about this, that, and the other, and a lot of it was the St. Louis Cardinals. So every time right now I hear a scouting report on the radio or think about, okay, who are the Cardinals going to get for this season, my first thought is, oh, I can't wait to talk to Gabe about that, and that's when I'll miss him the most.
Anyone else like to come up?
So I am Dylan. I am part of Gabe's chosen family. I have known Gabe since I was actually going to try and wing my speech today. However, in true Gabe fashion, I am going to go with something I wrote down. So I met Gabe October 18th of 2016. I met him at a friend's party, and all I remember is this short, very masculine, poofy, blonde-haired person. And I was like, who is this? And he was just talking about Drake and the Chiefs. And I just thought so weird but intriguing. And it wasn't until a couple months later that we would start hanging out a lot and consistently. When we graduated, we continued with the trend, and when he lived with Brenda, I would drive to his house just to sit in his bed with him, and we would watch Drag Race lip syncs. Brenda would be asking us to get out of there to hang out with her, and we would just sit there and lie and say that we were tired. Fast forward a little further, we did live in St. Louis together, as well as we ultimately lived right down the street from each other in Chicago. As I mentioned, Gabe was intriguing and different, and at first I didn't really know why this was until a little bit later. Gabe came to my apartment, and he sat on the chair next to my bed, as he always did, and he said, I want you to read something I wrote for you, and I want you to read it, and I don't want you to say anything to me, and I just want you to really read it. So as I started to read Gabe's letter, I started to realize that he was coming out to me about his transition and about his sexuality. And with tears rolling down that boy's face, I told him I loved him and that I would do anything to make him feel accepted. I told Gabe that he needed to tell our other chosen families, Samantha and Haley, and I really I helped muster up his courage. And one day after our movie night, he sat the girls down and said, I have something to tell you. He came out to them and immediately started crying and sobbing, and the girls were the most accepting that they ever could have been. And in that moment, I knew that's when we were chosen family. The day Gabe left, I didn't lose my travel partner, and I didn't lose my hangout buddy, my best friend. I lost a part of my life that day. There's a line from the musical Rent that I feel best describes our experience with Gabe. And the line reads, Angel always said how lucky she was that we were all friends, but it was us, baby, that were the lucky ones. I love you, Gabe.
there anyone else who'd like to come forward and share at this time? In 2010, Gabe found out that his friend Autumn Romer was moving to Miami. Autumn had been a mentor in the Webster Groves Christian Church senior youth group, but had also been more of a surrogate older sibling for Gabe. He was understandably sad, but decided to write a song to Autumn. He performed it live for her at the final youth group meeting she attended, and also made a recording of it with his guitar teacher at the time. We're blessed to have this precious memory of his love and his talent. The words written to say, "So long for now," to his beloved Autumn, are now hauntingly appropriate as we say so long for now to him. He was such a giving person, it's only appropriate that he's still helping us now.
by Guns N' Roses and was a favorite of Gabe's. The words describe him almost to a T. The only thing that we have done to make it perfect for him is something we have already done for our loving him. That's change your love.
I'll be okay.
He's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see his face, he takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I'd probably break down and cry. Oh, sweet child of mine. Whoa, sweet love of mine. He's got eyes of the bluest skies, as if they thought of rain. I'd hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. His hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where as a child I'd hide and pray for the thunder and rain, oh, to quietly pass me by. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Oh, where do we go? Where do we go? Ay, 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 where do we go now? Where do we go?
to take my glasses off because for some reason that just, you got me. Okay, where do we go now? Where do we go now? We've lost a shining star and a beloved member of our family and our community. So what do we do with ourselves? The Gertis family has thoughts on this subject. We honor his memory and his legacy by treating people the same way that he did. From his young friends, his created family, we've heard from so many of you about how Gabe made you feel. He valued his friends and lifted them up. He was proud of their accomplishments and never missed a chance to demonstrate how much he valued them. So that's your charge now. Go and be that kind of friend to the loved ones in your village. Show them. Tell them. Don't miss a single chance. To the more senior members of our village, first, a word of thanks. The Gertis family has heard privately from members of the LGBTQIA+ community. They've watched and seen your reactions and are impressed by the love that you've expressed. It's a wonder for them to see such a large group where 100% of you have used correct names and proper pronouns. As one friend of Gabe's put it, this is so spectacular to witness as a trans person whose family of origin is not as accepting, to say the least. And John and Leo would like to be perfectly honest. There was a period of adjustment. Gabe was the first person with whom we'd taken this particular journey. We had to figure out some things and find ways on how best to support him. We knew that many of you experienced the same adjustment period and have, perhaps, been hesitant to express certain things for fear of not coming across the right way or misspeaking. To this, we say, you have come from a place of love, and that means everything. When you lead with love, there is no wrong answer. There is simply figuring things out together. Gabe helped guide us with great patience and love for us. We offer ourselves as a resource in this regard to all of you in what happens next. And here it is. We've lived the transition with Gabe and viewed it through the lens of someone we love. We may have slipped up from time to time, but we grew together, and now we have a solid foundation going forward. We will no longer struggle or have to try and find the right words when next we meet a person going through a similar transition. Gabe has helped us by laying the foundation for being even more loving and accepting and inclusive. And I'm going to go off script and say that the love in this room is palpable. It's amazing in here. For those of us in the senior generation, we hereby pledge that the person to be that person for the others, most especially for those not accepted and loved unconditionally by their birth family. We pledge to be their village and part of their support system. It's who we were called to be for him. We can do no less for others because each and every one is a beloved child of God. Grandma Barb gave Gabe a book of prayers when he was little. There was one that Leah and John said with him every night before bed. Father, we thank you for the night and for the pleasant morning light, for rest and food and loving care, and all that makes the day so fair. Help us to do the things we should, to be to others kind and good. In all we do, in all we say, to grow more loving every day. Those last 4 lines say it all. They are the perfect summary of who Gabe was as a person and who he was to all who knew him. As we move forward together, may we all pledge to honor his legacy by being more kind, more loving, more uplifting, and more inclusive. Many thanks from the Gertis family, again, for who you have been and who we all know that you will continue to be.
Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. Golden slumbers fill your eyes, smiles await you when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. I never gave you my pillow. I only send you my invitations. And in the middle of the celebrations, I break down. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. Oh yeah! All right! Yeah, you're gonna be in my dreams tonight. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
Now you've heard it, all of those of you who have loved Gabe, join us in singing Love You.
Love you, love you. Come on. Love you, 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 love you.
And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
Go in love. Everywhere you go, go in love.